Welcome to the Focal Insights Podcast Founder Hour edition, hosted by co-founder Joe Pawlak. Joe has been in the e-commerce industry for over 25 years. He grew and bootstrapped his own startup to a successful exit. Founder Hour episodes go behind the scenes to learn how some of the best e-sellers. Focal was built with SMB brands and marketplace sellers in mind to help them grow profitably. Now let's welcome our host, Joe Pawlak.
Hello and welcome to the Focal E-commerce Insights podcast, where we chat with e-commerce entrepreneurs about business, selling online, and how to overcome challenges for success. Today we have a very exciting guest, but before we get started, for listeners not familiar with this podcast or Focal Software is an e-commerce operations software company. So if you need help growing your business more efficiently and profitably, be sure to stay tuned to future podcasts or feel free to reach out. Joining us today is Dr. Cliff Hahn, who is the CEO of Allerpops, a company that created a new category of all-natural prebiotic lozenges, toothpaste, and skin cream designed to support the body's beneficial oral and skin microbiome. Cliff started Allerpops in 2016. He has a PhD in genetics from Fudan University in China. He is a former Los Alamos National Laboratory scientist with contributions to the Human Genome Project and more than 300 scientific publications. Under his leadership, his company doubled revenue in the past 2 years, has increased marketing efforts on TikTok to over 128,000 followers, and he currently lives and works in Los Alamos, New Mexico. Cliff, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Joe, for having me.
All right. Well, we always start this podcast with learning a little bit about your motivations for starting a company, and your situation's a little difficult too, because as I said in your intro, you created a new category. So you're not only starting a business from scratch, but you've got one of the most challenging situations where you have to educate people about something that doesn't even exist yet. So they're not even looking for this product. So you're solving a problem, but people don't know they have the problem yet. So why don't you go ahead and talk about how you got started and why you got started?
I did not know actually at the beginning I would solve this problem. So the whole thing actually started in the family. So my son actually got allergies in 2007. So at the time, nobody in my family actually had allergies. I was wondering why he got allergies and how we can help him overcome that. Ask the doctor, and everybody do not know the why he got allergies. But here is antihistamines you can use. Fortunately, it helped him a little bit, but he continued to suffer from allergies every year, every spring. So along the way, actually, I studied the problem because I had the medical background. I graduated from medical school as well. So I see why people so many people suffer from allergies. Eventually, read all those literatures. By 2014, actually, I got allergies myself. So now you see, actually, the little kids, 2 years old, can get allergies. Mine, actually, 49 years old, can get allergy as well. Many of those previous studies did not explain why both young and old people can get allergies. So by that time, I say, actually, let me dig into that, and I proposed a specific oral hygiene hypothesis based on my personal histories. So I studied myself, and because I thought actually something changed in my mouth caused my allergies. So my situation is very unique. So, as immigrants from China, I was born in 1965. So I lived through both traditional life and the modern life. Yeah, because of that unique history, actually, that helped me to propose those specific oral hygiene hypotheses. Because I know actually in the traditional life, people did not do much oral hygiene. Actually, for me, in the first 12 years, I did not brush my teeth at all. So amazingly, I did not lose my teeth, but nobody suffered from allergies in those times. It's very rare. Even as I learned and studied in the medical school at that time, the teacher actually say, oh, we'll skip these allergy sectors, and mostly we are still dealing with infectious disease. So even that's in the 1980s, yeah, in the China, actually, the allergy was very rare. Yeah, because of those traditional life and the modern life was so much contrast, and the oral hygiene, skin hygiene was so much different that promoted me actually to promote the specific oral hygiene hypothesis. So I collected my saliva sample, collect the stool sample as comparison once a month, and studied all the my symptoms and the bacteria, sequenced all the bacteria. You just talked about my background as a scientist to study the Human Genome Project, right? So that sequence technology actually really helped me to study my microbiome, sequence all the bacteria in there with those DNA sequence technologies, and eventually discovered the root cause for allergy and autoimmune condition, which is probiotics deficiency in our body. And I discovered the good bacteria in the mouth and on the skin. So most people by that time, actually, at that time, most people just talk the probiotics in the gut. Even now, actually, besides our effort, most people are still talking about the probiotics in the gut. They do not know the good bacteria in the mouth and on the skin. So, yeah, the discovery here is multiple fold. It's brand new at that time, actually. Before I start these things, actually, my wife and I talked about the why allergy are so common, who can solve that. I did not, never thought about that actually. We can dig out the root cause of allergies with this effort. It's just a sidetrack of my effort while I work in the lab and I see, yeah, how can I solve something and interesting to my family, to my son, to me as well. Yeah, that's the start of this whole things.
Yeah, so it started really like a lot of businesses start almost as a hobby. You just
Yeah.
wanted to know what causes this, and you had some background, and you knew it was a problem, and it's a big problem. So your curiosity and your hobby led you to creating some products. And how did you decide at what point to actually go full time and make this into a business?
Go full time actually that was happening in 2017. Even though I we had the company actually name in 2016, that was for different emission. So actually the allergy was so bad. My nose was completely congested and I could not breathe through the nose. Breathing through the mouth, in the New Mexico or in the Denver, the airways was so dry, it was very difficult. The throat was burning. So I invented a wet mask. That's why the wet mask was named as Nose Junior, the Nose Junior, to cover my mouth to breathe. That was the first product for invented for the allergies. But that was not the start of this current Allerpops Corporation. Allerpops Corporation started actually in 2017. By the spring of 2017, I sequenced all the bacteria collect in the mouth and in my gut. Collected the sample for 3 years. Eventually found two group bacteria became more abundant as my annual allergies went away in summer of 2015. So in the 3 year window, in the middle, yeah, my annual allergies, year-long allergy actually went away. For some reason, I do not know. I do not know. Thanks a lot for that, actually. No matter what happened, but I continue collecting my saliva sample for another year and a half, eventually sequenced all of them, and found at that moment when my allergies went away, two group bacteria actually, Streptococcus and Veillonella, became more abundant. So I thought, yeah, is that kind of responsible for my year-long allergy went away. So I actually made the lozenge to promote those good bacteria even further. And I collected the sample, of course, before and then after using the lozenge at that time, the first version of Allerpops. And my actually seasonal allergy went away in the spring of 2017. That was the day actually, March 15th, Wednesday. I was able to sit in the park. You know, the March 15th, it was almost the peak season of the allergy season here in Los Alamos, New Mexico. I was able to sit in the park, did not feel, without feeling any of the allergy symptoms. So that was the first case actually, verification promote the good bacteria in the mouth actually could reduce allergies. Yeah, the sequence of the sample tells those two promoted bacteria became more abundant before and afterwards. So that was the verification of that. So at that time, I thought actually, this the things for myself is that actually specific for me, also for some other people. So I actually give that lozenge to my son. Actually, it helped my son as well. As I work, of course, many people suffer from allergy around. I actually give the one of the lozenge to my coworker, and she felt better as well. At that moment, I see actually, oh, this might be help many other people. I did not know actually how many people it will help. Not sure about that. I thought I should do something of that with that. So we actually started to do the patents by the summer of 2017. That's the time I decided to go do the things. Actually, I decided to get leave without pay from the lab and started rented this company, rented this space actually for the company. That's the real start of the things. Leave without pay, but after about 6 months or so, decided to actually jump off the boat and actually just go full in and retired from the lab. So that's the time actually I decided to jump in.
That's when you made the jump. You took the leap.
Yes.
Well, it's
It was difficult.
interesting.
It was difficult to convince my wife to see actually I need to do this. And he said, really, really? And at that time I was 52. I was not at the age of retirement for the lab. The pension, if I retire at that time, it will be really, really tiny. Could that support the family? And how soon can I get the profit? Things like that. It was all I know. And yeah, took it quite some time actually to convince my wife to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. And you mentioned earlier that when you were in college, you were sort of in between, or maybe a little bit after college, in between Eastern medicine and Western medicine. And you mentioned the wet mask, which sounds a little bit more Western to me because it's more of a addressing um, the comfort level, tr masking almost literally the symptom
Exactly. Exactly.
versus
Mask the
finding
symptom.
the root cause of the issue, which would be
Mhm.
more holistically Eastern medicine. Do you feel like that once you found the solution to the root of it, is that when you were convinced that it's time to help other people with the same solution?
Yeah, I actually do not actually think actually the root cause solution is Eastern or Western. It's actually I really think this is based on the cutting edge understanding of the why. Is I compare this to the infectious disease, right? Infectious disease, yeah, like 200 years ago, people do not know what kind of why we have the infections, why we have the pneumonia. But the science really helped us to understand why we have the pneumonia, right? We have the pneumonia virus, pneumonia bacteria. That's actually why we have the infectious disease. And we developed the antibiotics to actually really kill all those infectious agents that solve the root cause of infections, right? So this is the same things as the understanding why we have allergies. And why we have allergies, we do not have enough good bacteria in our body, so the immune system become hypersensitive. That's why. And with that answer of the root cause, and we have the root cause solutions, this is the comparison comparable to that solution antibiotics against the infectious disease. Now we can promote the good bacteria and solve the allergy and autoimmune condition issues. So this it's the actually modern science understanding of the basics of conditions.
All right. And you also touched on some of the things that are very typical challenges when starting a business, especially when a lot of times entrepreneurship is kind of a something that's a little more of a younger man's game. They don't have a family, they don't have a wife, they have a lot of time if they make big mistakes to correct them. So let's talk about some challenges because not only did you face financial challenges, you have to fund this and your family simultaneously, but you're in a type of business that I'm going to imagine is going to have some regulations and things that can slow you down. So not only do you have to fund it, but you have to fund a long runway to where you can get to selling the product, revenue, and then ultimately profitability. So let's talk about those challenges. It seems like funding the business was one of the biggest at the start.
Yeah, I did not expect the challenge. I thought I can actually get profit within a couple of years. So if I knew at that time I would face this much many challenge, I probably will not start it whole things. So the for a person who have never done business at all previously, I think that's probably a benefit without knowing all the uh, challenges I would face. That's easier decisions. And use just imagine actually if I can actually get a profit, get something like that within a couple of years, that's not a big deal. Yeah, but that's the things. But along the way, of course, I faced many challenges, as you said. Financial is one of them, actually. Initially, I thought that was the biggest challenge. Yeah, it was quite a big challenge. I actually put all my retirement savings and my house actually in this company already. I'm totally in. Thanks well for my wife actually. Somehow she was supporting and get into this trap, and even now actually we have not get into that. But financial challenge was actually now I think it's actually not the major ones. It's the major ones is a challenge against myself. I have to change a lot. So as a scientist, as actually a person who did not want to talk with anyone, just want to do the research in the lab with the tube and the pipettes, things like that. Yeah, that was a big challenge to actually get the message out to anyone, investors or customer. So that was the biggest challenge. And actually, to understand the customer's needs is also a challenge as well. For example, as a scientist, I want to say make the process actually as effective as possible. Yeah, I made the logins and let's make the protocol to use the product and actually as a biologist, as also as a semi actually computer scientist actually, I made the steps, 13 different steps to use the product and with some loop in between. If you get this one, go this step, something like that. Yeah, it was so complicated actually. The customer actually I met one of them afterwards and see she bought the product actually for about several months already. I see how it works for you. No, it's still on my shelf. I have not never used that. I said, why? Yeah, why? You see, your protocol actually it was too complicated. So at that
Yeah.
time, actually, I see, oh, customer do not want those effective procedure. They want a simple and easy procedure. So that's the things actually. Eventually, actually have to modify those procedures so that people can get it and use it. So that's actually the first challenge. In many of challenge myself, actually think differently. based on the customer needs, not based on the scientific understanding of the problem. So that was the gradually shift to my understanding. Of course, overcome myself, yeah, change my actually behavior and do the things necessary for the success of the company, not something like I like to do or I want to do, I prefer to do. It's not those things. You have to do the things actually that is necessary to make the business successful. Yeah, so that's the biggest challenge is actually like talk with you, like talk with
Yeah,
you, and like talk with many of the customers. I have never uh, talked this many, this much, many hours. And I talk with people actually in the last maybe 2 years or so. I have spoken so many words, a lot more than the combination of the last 55 years I spoke. So
a lot of
it,
talking.
yeah, lots of talking.
Well, you did touch upon something that's very important in entrepreneurship and starting businesses, because you said you had these challenges, and one of the things you mentioned was that your wife believed in you, because you had to put your house on the line, your retirement funds, and so you believed in it, and then your wife believed in it. So you had some support, you had a support system, and that has to be helpful. You have to be able to believe that you've people need what you have, and that has to be a very strong commitment to get through those challenging times.
Yeah, that's right. So along the way, the right now I learn actually the business growth is I talked about it. It's not about the money, about the support. That's part of that, but the main things is actually is growth of the founder, the team of the business. Grow your actually confidence to the product, to the measured that will benefit and that will benefit the customer, and eventually the business will be successful. So that's actually the change of myself within. So as I told you at the beginning, actually, when I did not know how many people will benefit from this approach, I'm always not sure. Anytime actually, even after we have the product on the market, yeah, most of the time people will say, "Oh, it works for me, and my things gets better." But yeah, and some of the time they say actually, "Oh, your product did not work for me." At those time, I would say, "Oh, this probably, yeah, not good things for some people. Is that real?" Sometimes I would suspect that myself as well. And along the way, actually, as we finish the clinical trial, as I developed the aloe cream, actually help the skin and joint issues, things like that. So along the way, actually, the confidence to the understanding to the mechanism why we have allergies, why we have autoimmune condition, the confidence to that theory behind those products will increase as well. Right now, actually, I'm 100% believe actually this is the why we have allergy and autoimmune condition and why we have this allergy epidemic and all those oral hygiene and skin hygiene, all the antibiotic use and all the actually food without much fibers are the primary reasons why we have these conditions, and feed the bacteria in our body, feed the bacteria in the mouth, on the skin, and in the gut with the food they need, and do a moderate or hygiene, moderate hygiene will be the solutions for this allergy epidemic. So that confidence actually was the drive internally for the success of the business. So without that, actually, without that, everything else, I would not be able to convince my wife to say we need more money. Yeah, if I do not have the confidence myself, those things will not happen. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what you need when you start a business is 100% confidence, and you can't really waver. And the other thing you mentioned is having to grow as a business owner, as a CEO, and your team as well. A lot of people, when they start a company, whether they're individual or whether there's a small team, they all have different strengths. Maybe there's sales, there's marketing, there's research, there's finance, but when you start a company with a very, very small team or even an individual, you have to do everything. So you have to raise your level of all those different departments because you don't have typically the money to go out and hire the person that can do that. So I think that's what you're describing there is that you really saw the initial need. And I know you've put a lot of effort into marketing, communication, education, and reaching out to people and talking to people when you were not used to doing that and maybe were uncomfortable doing that, but you knew you had to do it and you did it.
Yeah, I was not a communicative person at all. If you found me actually, even let's say 3 years ago, I started the business already. If you find me actually in a room, I probably will be the ones in the corner and be quiet all the time. So I was those kind of person actually do not want to talk. And but along the way, actually, for example, we raised the did the crowdfunding on the WeFounder. So we did it twice. On the first time, actually, that was 2021. So actually, I managed to do that myself. It worked quite okay. Yeah. I actually did all those basics based on other people's advice, my advisors' advice, and say actually you go talk with people, make some videos and things like that. It was worked quite okay. On the second time, I returned back to my previous behavior. Yeah, if someone else can help me, how about let them help me? So I hired a manager to do the fundraising for me. It was not that okay anymore. So actually we raised about the same amount of money, but the cost actually was half of them. So that was the lesson I learned. I say actually I need to jump in. I need to jump in, and right after the second actually fundraising, the fortunately the second manager of the fundraising actually she said, yeah, why don't you go to TikTok? Why don't you go to TikTok? I said, yeah, TikTok. I hate that platform. I was not that familiar with that platform, but there was some not that good reputation within me for some reasons. So, and also actually, I did not like to actually talk with people, get follower, things like that. And we had a difficult time actually to get follower in other
And
platforms
what
as
year was
well.
that, Cliff?
That
What
was
year?
2023, 2023. Yeah, that was
Not many people had even heard of TikTok, much less a marketplace for selling at that point.
that's right. That's right. So at that time, actually, he said, "Oh, you can go to the TikTok." Imagine if you have 1 million followers, what your business will be. I said, 1 million follower. How could that be? Can anybody follow this one who is not talking at all? So I did not have a confidence at all. But and after a while, another advisor and say actually, you should go to the TikTok. You should go to TikTok. And actually, we tried to see actually how about go to the Shark Tank. I went to Shark Tank once, and discuss about that one more time. And there's another person, business person, actually. Uh, he actually talked with me. He's on the TikTok and say actually you should go there and see actually. So yeah, multiple people talk with me about go to the TikTok. By that time, by actually almost close to the end of 2023. The money raised, the second we found actually campaign closed and we left not that much money, could not run actually. And the runway was shorter and where should I go? And the fundraising was really difficult actually. And actually, all the house has been on it, in it already. There's no other reserve. And what should I do? What should I do? So should I close the business? Should I go to the TikTok? Yeah. So yeah, that's the only way it looks like. Only way, only pause potential actually. So I jumped in. I actually started the video actually in November, December actually uh, of 2023. Started the video for about several months. And actually, in March 2024, yeah, I started live streaming.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
was accident. I did not plan that actually. Accident press the button and say go live really. And press that and it was live. What's going on? What should I say?
Well, I'll bet there's a lot of people. Well, we know there's a lot of people that have allergies and they're looking for solutions. So it doesn't surprise me that your followers are growing.
Yeah, this was fortunately actually even in the first live streaming, I see actually, oh, I have to go there. They said you have to stay here for 30 minutes at least. Oh, 30 minutes. Oh, talk about what's about the allergy. Everything I know about the allergy and again and again. Unfortunately, actually, we got something like 150 views. I thought, oh, yeah, 150 views. I can talk with 100, more than 100 people. It's good. It's good.
That's a
So
big
that was
audience.
the encouragement, actually.
Yeah, well, I know you're primarily an e-commerce company as well. TikTok is a good example of one of the tools that you're using. You sell your products on your website as well. What do you use to what other e-commerce tools do you use? Is your website Shopify or WooCommerce? I forget.
Yeah, I actually mainly I actually we have presence in Amazon and we have our own website allerpops.com as well. And yeah, the business tool right now is actually the for the commercial interaction, directly commercial talk with our customer is actually mostly on the on the TikTok. Beside that, we do have account in other platform like YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram as well. But it's not that active. But we have the live streaming on the TikTok every day. Yeah, that's the most active site.
And what is your e-commerce website? What's the what runs that? Is that a Shopify website?
WooCommerce,
It is a
WooCommerce.
WooCommerce.
Yeah,
Okay.
WooCommerce.
Any
Yeah.
other tools that you found for e-commerce selling that you find are useful to any listeners?
Yeah, AI, you got to use AI.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually, for example, when I make a video, things like that, some of the, I actually use AI, so to actually write the script and help me plan for that. And there's some other, even currently, I actually write papers about allergy and autoimmune conditions, theoretical publications, actually, it's in a review. I use the AI as well. So actually, AI is a great help to my business, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's a huge time saver. And also when you talk about software and different tools to use, AI and this is something that Focal Software is doing as well, is integrating AI into the software so that you can have agents within your software that act like employees and do things
Mhm.
on your behalf, even proactively, as well as things like reporting, where you can just ask a software, what's my best-selling product? What's
Yeah.
my best-selling marketplace? What are my
Mhm.
margins? These things that used to be very complicated. AI will solve all those in the near future.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that's at least when you ask them actually, they give you an answer. You can think about that, good or bad. Actually, in quite common, quite often actually, they give quite a realistic answer about the potentials, things like that. I do ask the business questions to AI as well, and it help. It help.
Yeah, it's still wrong sometimes though, so people
Yeah.
should be aware. It's not AI is not always right, but
Uh,
it's improving.
That's right. I definitely, you need to verify that. Like in when I write a paper about those, verify those references, things like that. You got to do that. Sometimes the AI actually cannot do the complicated issues actually correctly, like the write a big paper and revise that when you have the review question, things like that. They cannot do that well. So, but
Yeah,
initially, prepare the manuscript and it was actually quite good actually. Yeah.
yeah.
So
I think that
and
advice for AI that's been always the same is have them do the rough work, but make sure you're reviewing it and revising it and checking the accuracy.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Got to do that.
All right, well, let's get into something that I call the speed round, which is just 3 questions that I ask you, general business questions, for you to give some pretty quick answers. And it's like advice for anyone that's listening or watching that's thinking of starting a business.
All right.
Okay, so first question is, what would your number one piece of advice be for anyone that's thinking of starting their own business? Now, you mentioned earlier when if you knew the challenges, you might not have started the business. So the advice can't be don't do it. It's too hard, right? So what's your number one piece of advice if I were thinking of starting a business?
If you are thinking about starting a business, for me, actually, up to now, actually, I would say, actually, do you have enough internal drive to carry it on? Internal drive to carry it on. What's your purpose? Yeah, why you want to do the business? It's not only for the money. Yeah, it's not only for the money. And for me, actually, it's actually not only solve the allergy problem, not only solve the allergy problem for myself, for my family, for other people. There got to be something beyond the immediate needs, so that the drive can actually help you overcome the really, really deep valley, overcome that. It's really actually difficult. I still think, yeah, you will have a sleepless night actually. Um, Without those deep drive, get you overcome those dark time, actually, it will fail. So
Yeah.
make sure actually you have the um, big enough drive to help you to get through those difficult time.
Yeah, that's very true. And this podcast is all about challenges and overcoming challenges. And when you start a business, you can map out a list of the challenges that you know you're going to have, but there are just as many or twice as many the problems that you can't anticipate, that
That's right.
you can't even see them coming or know why, or any number of things can create a challenge that's uh, very difficult, and you have to have that strong drive.
Yeah, that's right. I think actually you don't have to know all the challenges. Challenge big or small, it doesn't matter. It's actually mainly the why you want to start the business that will should be big enough for you to overcome all those challenges. Yeah,
Yeah.
not only just the immediate needs of the money, things like that.
Okay, next question is, successful entrepreneurs often say that you need to surround yourself with good people and need a little bit of luck sometimes. And sometimes they can be combined where you hire somebody and you get lucky, they perform better or contribute more than you thought. So, what are your thoughts on having a good team and luck in business?
Have a good team, and luck. I think the first thing is actually for the founder, you yourself is the core of the team. And then have yeah, you have to be strong. That's the first one. First, the good team actually. And as far as hire other people, to me actually to now it's actually not too early. Not too early. Yeah, if you can find the lots of money, you can hire, but before you have tons of money, do not hire. And do not use actually solicit and many other services. I think there are uh, the starter help business services. They are good on one side. On the other side, actually, any one of those services can be a trap of exhausting your energies and resources. Yeah, you got to actually do the most things yourself, and actually, that's for me. That's at least for this business, for my experience, is actually you got to be able to move the ball yourself. If you cannot move the ball, yeah, other people will not help you, will not be able to help you. If you cannot stand yourself, other people will not come to help you neither. So you got to manage yourself, make your company actually really give some other people some rosy hope and say, oh, this is could be profitable business. Yeah, before that, actually, expect help from other people is not realistic.
Yeah, that's all a good point. A lot of times I ask that question, and people look at it more from their business is a little bit more mature and they have some employees. But that's a very good point. So, in other words, you are your team, and make sure that you surround yourself with positivity and hard work, and make sure that, like you said, you're the one that has to move the ball. You're a football team with just a quarterback, and you got to do it all at first. So that's a very good point. Okay, the last question is, if you had a magic wand to fix one thing that is holding you back or slowing you down, what would that one thing be that you could fix with the wave of a magic wand?
Oh, that magic one. That magic one, yeah, that's myself. That's myself. I hope actually myself actually uh would be able to actually like jumping into the TikTok several years early. That will actually solve the things much easier. I think actually if I have a different attitude, but that's the you can never actually go back to history and say actually I would want this magic one, things like that. But the thing the world is made this way, and I thank the Lord actually for preparing me this way and help me actually learn all those difficulties and grow me as a person. That's actually, I do not want a magic wand right now actually to solve any issue in front of me. That's the opportunity for me actually to grow. So no magic wand is good.
All right, no magic wand needed. I like that. Okay, as we start to wrap up here, Cliff, you talked quite a bit about your products and the problems they solve, and it sounds fascinating. It sounds great. So why don't you talk a little bit about how people can find you and find your products, and potentially if they can't breathe through their nose, how can they find some help from you?
Yeah, they can find actually Allerpops theory behind that actually the understanding why we have allergies and autoimmune condition and things like that at the allerpops.com, allerpops.com. Yeah, in that actually I advise actually everyone go look into the scientific page and understanding why we have allergy and autoimmune condition, what kind of product we have, things like that. If you want to find an easy message, we have quite some videos in the TikTok platform, and we have more than 100 of videos about those allergy and autoimmune conditions. We're making more videos as well. If you want to have an interactive interaction with me, that's easy. Actually, just go to the live streaming, and I have the live streaming every day from 5 to 9 a.m. Mountain Time. So yeah, if you have questions, want to ask, and want to directly interact, that's the best way to do that.
All right, fantastic. So they can get educated on allergies and also find a solution from you. And if I heard correctly, you just said you live stream from 5 to 9, 3 hours, or
4 hours.
4 hours. That's up quite a bit from the 30 minutes that intimidated you initially.
That's right. That's right.
Well, that's progress.
Yeah, I'm glad that we are making progress.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, we're going to wrap up today's podcast. Cliff, thank you for sharing your experience with our listeners, and thanks to everyone listening and watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Focal Insights Podcast. If you like this episode, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you can be alerted of new episodes. See you next time.